Hello, one more time. We're going to be talking about inner join, but we're going to expand that and also to see the difference between the use or between using the keyword where, which, as we all know, associated with certain value, single value, without the use of aggregate function like count or sum, and using having, which is going to depend heavily on the use of those aggregate function like count and sum. And I wanted to distinguish that clearly. And I'm going to be using the two tables, employees and orders, as you notice. And we're going to be selecting from the last name for the employees, the two values, the value and the followers. And also, eventually, we're going to find out which one of those, or maybe both of them, have processed more than or equal to 25 orders. So let's first of all do the inner join before we do anything else. And I'm going to, in the process, I'm going to select the last name from the employees tables. And I'm going to also go ahead and group by or count the number of orders, order ID from the order table orders. And now I'm about to go ahead and create the join between the two tables from orders, and I'm going to say here inner join. It's not case sensitive, by the way. Inner join employees. All right, on. Now we're going to go ahead and use the primary key from the employees table, which is employees ID, which acts as the foreign key in the orders table in order to join them. All right, that will give me actually I need to finish the group by, and when I group by, I group it based on one single attribute, like the last name. Okay. Now, at this moment, I'm revisiting the group by. Of course, I want to go back and select those two people, Tavolio and Fullers. And let's see, we got the same exact thing that we've done in a previous video. So in order for me to pick up the name Tavolio or Fuller, then I'm going to come here. I'm going to come here and I must use where. I'm going to use where because it's a single value. I'm not using where, last name, employees, last name, equal, equal, the value, of course here, the value, or employees, last name is equal to Fuller. So now we're only going to get two of these employees, excluding Buchanan, excluding Callahan, King, and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and run this. I should have with the semicolon is the last name. There's no semicolon here because we have the group by. And notice we have W, which is 29, and Fuller. And if I wanted to see which one of these two have sold more than or equal to 25, then I cannot say where count orders is going to be greater than or equal to 25. I wanted to say I have to use having count. Look here, I'm using the aggregate function result, the result from the aggregate function order ID is greater than or equal to 25. Of course, I could have used aliases in order to come up with the same result. Here we go. And I have the value who really obtained 29. If I want to use aliases, I could say here as number of orders. Then I would use here, instead of using the count, the whole function and rewrite the whole thing again. I could use the aliases and having num of orders is greater than or equal to 25. But notice this variable, if you want to think about it as a variable, or this word is really a built-in aggregate function on the order's order ID. So make sure this is not a single attribute like it is in the last name here. So let's go ahead and run this and see if it's going to work, and it does work with the 29. Well, please distinguish between having that used with the aggregate functions, and also where, which really based on a single value and or single attribute, and it doesn't use the aggregate function as we see it in having. I'm being redundant, but for a good reason. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue with additional queries very soon. Bye-bye.